on a historic 5-nation tour. This is going to be his longest foreign trip in a decade. Now, the week-long visit that concludes with the participation in the 17th BRICS summit in Rio in Brazil, which is going to be a landmark trip for multiple African nations as well, that the Prime Minister will be embarking on. Now, the Prime Minister's first stop will be in Ghana from the 2nd till the 3rd of July, which is tomorrow and day after, followed by a trip to Trinidad and Tobago from the 3rd till the 4th of July. He will then travel to Argentina from the 4th of July till the 5th, before then he heads to Brazil for the BRICS summit from the 5th of July till the 8th. Now, his last stop will be to Namibia on the 9th of July. As far as the BRICS is now concerned, this is where the talking point is, where the BRICS declaration is now expected to denounce the Pahalgam terror attack, as the Prime Minister will also be on his tour to Ghana, being the first Indian Prime Minister who will be visiting in 30 years, focusing on economic ties, focusing on defense and critical minerals as well. And when we speak of Trinidad and Tobago, that will also be a first visit by an Indian Prime Minister since 1999, where he is expected to address the Parliament. Now, when we speak of Argentina, the Prime Minister will be in talks with the President there. The discussions are likely to happen around defense, agriculture and energy. And the most important, Brazil, the BRICS summit, where he will be attending the 17th BRICS summit. The Prime Minister is expected to hold key bilaterals as well. And he will then end his visit to this multiple nation tour with Namibia, his first visit there as the first diplomatic visit for its new president as well. Now, the Pahalgam terror attack, according to sources, what we are learning, there is going to be a call for a united anti-terror approach. All member nations have expressed solidarity with India, and the language on terrorism is expected to reflect in India's stance when it comes to the statement that is likely to be taken up. Now, how together or how united Shinjoy, as far as the stand on terrorism is concerned? Cross-border terrorism seems to be a statement where China seems reluctant during the SCO. Pakistani Defense Minister was also present there. But however, BRICS is a completely different platform.
First of all, Pakistan is not here. China is not the host here. And what we know is what the Sherpa, Damu Ravi, whose Secretary MEA has said yesterday. He made it very clear that all BRICS members have agreed to the declaration on terrorism. So this was a public statement. Secondly, he said that India is very happy, has accepted the statement, and India finds it entirely acceptable. So clearly, this was in reply to a question on terror and Pahalgam. So India is accepting this joint statement, which means that India's points of view are very clearly reflected in it. Also, very importantly, next year, 2026, India will be the hosts. And every year, the country, the host country also looks at an area of emphasis. Now here, quite rightly, because of global warming and the fact that the Amazon is part of Brazil, largely, the Brazilians have looked at climate change. Now India, what we are hearing, next year will look at terrorism as a central pivot of the discussions. So about that, it's very clear 2026 will be the year where terrorism will get...
But will now India set the stage as far as cross-border terrorism is concerned and call out Pakistan and name and shame it as far as the BRICS summit is also concerned? Because India has been on a mission to call out Pakistan for aiding and for sponsoring cross-border terrorism. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, who has called out the terror state again at the UN, urging the global community to reunite in ensuring that terrorists face no impunity and are not treated as proxies. He's also made India's stance clear that it will not bow down to nuclear blackmail, asserting that India's response to Pahalgam terror attack underlines the message of zero tolerance towards terrorism.
Terrorism is one of the gravest threats to humanity. It is the antithesis of everything that the UN stands for: human rights, rules and norms, and how nations should conduct their dealings with each other. When terrorism is supported by a state against a neighbor, when it is fueled by the bigotry of extremism, when it drives a whole host of illegal activities, it is imperative to call it out publicly. And one way of doing so is to display the havoc that it has wreaked on global society.
Well, Mr. Sajjanhar is also connected with us. Sir, good morning to you. How big do you believe would be India's message, especially when it comes to cross-border terrorism, zero tolerance towards terrorism, and also the new normal that India has now set apart when it comes to the Operation Sindoor that it had launched against Pakistan?
Yes, thank you very much. India has been raising the ante against Pakistan for the last many years. But it's got much more strident, particularly after Pahalgam, and I think it was evident when we sent out these 7 delegations to 33 countries to inform the whole world as to what Pakistan had been doing. So I think it is informing the world, and it is both on a bilateral basis as well as on a regional and multilateral fora that India is going to speak about it. So India is very clear, and the world needs to recognize. I think the message India is sending out is what India is doing in terms of fighting against terror. It is not only India's fight, it is the world's fight, and the world really needs to come together with India. But be that as it may, India will continue to safeguard its...
But Mr. Sajjanhar, will China accept the statement? Because we have seen its reluctance during the SCO.
Yes, that is the point. But I would also, of course, those times are different. I would take you back to what happened in 2017, when there was the, in Xiamen, the BRICS meeting. Here, there you have in the joint declaration. And, that happened immediately after Doklam. Doklam ended, I think, on the 28th of August, 4th of September. The Xiamen meeting of the BRICS was held in China. And there is a mention of 10 terrorist organizations in that joint declaration in which all this Jaish and Lashkar and all these names are mentioned.
All right,
so I can recognize and acknowledge that today China is a bigger power, and the relationship between China and Pakistan has also strengthened and grown. But still, I think it is China in SU was doing that because it was the chair.
But India has gone out, all out rather, to call out the terror state again, and has urged the global community as well to unite in ensuring that terrorists face no impunity and they are not treated as proxies either. Thank you very much, Mr. Sajjanhar, for your point of view. Of course, this is something that a stand India is going to take strongly when the BRICS summit happened, this time in Rio in Brazil, where the Prime Minister would be attending the summit. With that, we head into a short.